In this video, we are going to simplify algebraic expressions by dividing. Remember, operations with numbers have certain properties, namely distributive, commutative, and associative. Yes, we need to fill up our math toolbox with all of these tools so that we can solve problems easily. Let's say we want to divide 240 Rand of prize money. We want to share that equally between 20 netball players. How will we divide? Yes, you're right, we are going to divide. Okay, so what we can do to make it easy for ourselves is to take the 20 and to say 20 is the same as 10 times 2. So I can first divide the 240 by 10, and then that answer can be divided by 2. So that will give us then 24 divided by 2 is 12. Remember, this is not the distributive property. We don't divide the 240 by 10 and the 240 by 2. We divide 240 by 10 and then by 2. Sometimes it's easier to think of it as a fraction. So we're going to first divide by 10 and then 24 divided by 2 is 12. But there are other ways also to divide. You could, Ping, brilliant suggestion. So what Ping said, and this is very clever, he said, no, sorry Ping, sorry. I was just a bit confused between you and Zoot. Okay, so what she says is that she takes 300 minus the 60, that will give you 240. So she's going to divide 300 by 20, which is easy, that's 15, and the 60 by 20, which is easy, that's 3. Subtract the 2, and you will also get the right answer. Great stuff, Ping. Division is right distributive over addition. Now, what does that mean? I'll tell you now. Do you see 2 plus 3 divided by 5? You know the distributive property. So we can distribute the 5 to the 2 and the 3 by dividing the 2 by 5 and the 3 by 5. Let's see how that works. 2 divided by 5 plus 3 divided by 5 can be written as 2 fifths divided by plus 3 fifths, which is 2 plus 3 over 5, which is 1. So it works. What about this one? 2 plus 3 divided by 5. Oh yes, I remember, if you divide by 5, it's the same as multiplying by a fifth. So we could say a fifth times the bracket. Then we can write a fifth in front of the bracket. And a fifth of 5 is 1. So that also works. Guys, but this does not work. Do you see 5 is now on the left side of the bracket, and division is not left distributive, but right distributive. We cannot say 5 divided by 2 plus 5 divided by 3. That will give you a totally different answer to this one. So note the difference. The distributive property of division can be expressed in the following way. So x plus y in brackets is divided by z. We can divide the x by z and the y by z. Also, if there's subtraction in the bracket, then we'll just subtract the two brackets. Let's practice. The first question we always ask ourselves is how many terms? So this is one term, but we want to expand the brackets. So we can use a right distribution, and then we can divide each term separately. So if we use right distribution, we can say that's the same as 10x squared minus 20x minus 5 divided by 5. Each term separately. 10 divided by 5 is 2, x squared minus 4x. And remember, a number divided by itself is 1. We can combine like terms if there are any, but there are no like terms. Let's look at this one. How's this one different to the previous one? There's an x. So we'll do right distribution and see what happens. And then we'll divide each term separately. This is important. Why can x not be 0? Yes, absolutely. Because if you divide by 0, the answer is undefined. So all the values will work for x except 0. So be careful of that x in the denominator. So let's divide each term separately. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Use your laws of exponents. X squared divided by x. 2 minus the 1 is 1. 20 divided by 5 is 4. The x's cancel. which means it gives you 1, but that doesn't influence the answer. And be careful here. 5 and 5 goes into 5 once. So there's a 1, and then the x is left in the denominator. Let's level up. How's this one different to the previous one? There's a negative. How's that going to change this problem? How many terms? There's still 1 term. We'll use right distribution again. We'll divide each term separately, but we'll be careful of the signs, and x cannot be 0. So let's do this. So 10 divided by 5 is 2, but 10 divided by negative 5 is negative 2. Remember again, laws of exponents for your x. Now be careful here, guys. We've got a negative, subtract a negative, so that will be a positive. 20 divided by 5 is 4, x divided by x cancels. And then here again, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 5 divided by 5 is 1, and the x is left in the denominator. So look at the signs if you divide by a negative. Don't make sign mistakes. Let's level up. How's this one? Even more trickier than the previous one. How many terms? Still 1 term. Right, we'll do right distribution. Let's see. Now we've got 3 times that we have to do this again. And I see how this one is more trickier than the previous one, because now we've got x cubed at the bottom. So let's do this. Positive divided by negative is a negative. 10 divided by 5 is 2. But now be careful. If you cancel the x's, the x will be left in the denominator because there are more x's in the denominator. A negative divided by negative is a positive. 20 divided by 5 is 4. But be careful. The answer will be x squared, because if you subtract the exponents, it will give you x to the power of negative 2, which means x must be in the denominator. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 1 over x cubed. And remember, x cannot be 0, and be careful of those signs. Now we must just practice and practice and practice. Ping, where are you going? Ping, come back. You need to practice. Okay guys, happy learning.